session tonight. Tonight we are going to have our 138th session with another educator. And tonight our guest is an ESL teacher and teacher supporter, Pınar Sekmen. When she comes, we are going to start our live session with her. There is a problem about the connection, I think. I hope this time we fixed it and we can start our live session with her. I'm really sorry about it. Yes, I have accepted your request, Pınar Hocam. I'm waiting. Okay. Thank you. I can see you are all here, just like me and the others. But there is a problem with the connection, but we are still trying to fixing it. Yeah, it's playing with us. There it is.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can. How about you?
Yes, I can. Okay.
Can you see me, Hocam?
I can't see you, but that's okay. Can
Oh,
you see me?
yes, I can see you.
Okay, not a problem. We can have the session like this. It's okay. It's not a problem for me. So if it's not a problem for you, it's okay for me, Pınar
I,
Hocam. Is that a
I
problem?
see you, Hocam. So I'm okay with this, but for you, I'm not gonna say anything. It's up to you.
Okay, it's not a problem. I can see you from the computer's screen.
Ah,
Okay. There I can see it, but I can't see it on my mobile phone screen. But that's okay, not a problem. All right, let's get started. Okay,
okay.
Pınar Hocam, I would like to say thank you very much for accepting my invitation and waiting for this session to start. I'm really sorry about this connection problem and technological problem, but it's really great honor to have you here tonight.
Hocam, thank you very much for having me. It is not about you, it's about Mark, you know. He has to work more. And there has been something going wrong with Instagram. And I told you a couple of days ago, I cannot repause. So there's something wrong, yes, going on. So thank you very much for inviting and for having me. And I would like to say hello to everyone, to my colleagues, to my friends, to my daughters, to my students. I can see them and
Yeah.
all the participants that I have not met, but I'm very pleased to be with you all here.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Hocam. So let's get started because we are all busy. So I know about you, Pınar Hocam, but maybe our listeners would like to know about you. So can you tell us about yourself, please, and a bit about your experiences too?
Yes, of course, I'll try my best to cut it short because of my age and experiences. It is kind of a long story. I have been teaching English as a second language. I would prefer to say as a second language today for 25 years, and teaching Turkish as a foreign language for over 10 years. And I have been involved in so many fields in ELT,
Mm-hmm.
but I have always been at the backstage because of my health problem mostly.
I
And
see.
I lived in the USA for 3 years, but not for education purposes. And I have always been in education somehow, as a parent,
Mm-hmm.
as a teacher, as a coordinator somehow. So it is my lifestyle actually to be in education and to be an educator. And I have been trying to support teachers recently, let me say, because it's not a specific time, I should say,
I
and
see.
this is my
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle, and I'm trying to support all the teachers and educators with my experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's enough, right?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Pınar Hocam. So let me ask you another question.
Mhm.
And what was or were your turning point or points in your own education?
Mhm. My turning points actually, I call them like aha moments in my life because we have a lot of turning points maybe, but they're not always aha moments. I take it that way. When I became a mother for the first time, it was my turning point because it added a lot to my teaching profession. Because it's a profession of heart, you know, it is not only transferring the information or knowledge to the other side. So I learned to build more empathy with my daughters. So being a mother was one of them, and the other one was about my brain operation. It
Oh,
was, yes, I had it
yeah,
in
awesome. Mm-hmm.
2013. So I had to take a long pause in my career, but I never stopped, of course. I invested in my personal and professional growth and development, actually. And the other
Mm-hmm.
one is, of course, as for everybody, it is the pandemic time. So it
Yeah,
was a
for all
big
of.
aha moment
Mm-hmm.
for the globe, actually.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
hmm Yeah, these three points are the aha moments, and they're
In
important in my
your
life.
point, I see.
hmm
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pınar Hocam. Pınar Hocam, you have been teaching for a long time, and also probably you have tried in different methodologies in your lessons or strategies or techniques, and probably you have a kind of a philosophy of teaching. So what is it? What is your philosophy of teaching?
Uh, well, Gunajam, I would say I don't have one or some specific philosophies of teaching or approaches or
Mm-hmm.
methods. So I can say holistic approach is the main main approach for me, because when I talk about holistic approach, it involves the life itself, actually, because we should take language acquisition, I believe, as a whole. So it
I
is not
see.
only about the linguistic side of it, it is about the cultural side of it, it is about the needs of the profile of the learners. And so it is all about being involved and having the learners, involved in this as a whole. So it is a whole package of
Mm-hmm.
learning and teaching and professional way of taking the path. So I can say that I have been always eclectic, and I have been always holistic in my
Uh-huh.
profession.
I see. Okay, thank you very much, Hocam, for sharing your philosophy with us. And as a teacher, Hocam, in our, the career, probably we have lots of stories. Sometimes we have success stories. Sometimes we have, the fail stories. And when you think about stories, can you tell us one or two success stories of yours? Something inspirational, if you have, of course.
To be honest, I have a lot. but
So we are ready to listen.
the thing is, I have always preferred to be on the humble side of the stories. You know,
Uh-huh.
I don't like talking about or praising about my deeds, but to be a model for my learners, I sometimes share with them. And for example, recently, let me say,
Sure.
recently I got another Raylo scholarship. I think like you did, the
Yes.
regional America. I know that, and I'm so thankful to TESOL Turkey, of course, for this. And I'm a proud member of TESOL Turkey, by the way. And I would like to have everyone to be a member of TESOL Turkey or any other ELT community, because it is great to be
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
a
Mm-hmm.
community. So please try to join them all. So I think, let me share just the recent one. Uh,
Sure.
it's about the second real American, or where's the regional American office, language office, right? So
Yeah,
I'm gonna get
regional language
started with
office.
the second one in January, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna do that. That's also another. It's a great, and the
Thank you.
situation for both of us. I will have the
That's
same
right.
that
The both
thing
of us.
together. All right. Thank you very much, Hocam. So, Hocam, you have been also, the train. You give support to the teachers. So, when you think about these training sessions or presentations, etc., what was or were the most interesting situation that you faced?
Uh, I have always invested, I think, a lot in myself. So I consider everyone to be in the same situation or at the same level with me. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I give a lot to the other side. So when they look at me like blank mind and or with shocking eyes, shocked eyes. So I say, then I have to maybe step back or take it slowly. And so this is something I have never been able to control in my life because I'm so full
Uh-huh.
and I want to give everything to the other side. So this has always been a challenge in my trainings for me. Uh,
I
but
see.
putting the digital side of it and putting the gamification side of it have always helped me to stop and to pause and to control myself in my steps. So I think these have been my actually enthusiastic, but at the same time challenging times
Mm-hmm.
in my training sessions.
In your training sessions, I see. Thank you very
Mhm.
much, Hocam. Thank you very much. Teaching a language uh, is not an easy thing to do. It's really hard. But sometimes people think that teaching a language is not difficult, but it is. And there are also, I think, there are some principles to do this. So for you, what are the key principles of effective language teaching?
Mm-hmm. Uh, Communication is the golden key that unlocks the doors, because language is all about communication, right? Even if you do not speak or utter words, you use your body language, and it's a way of communication. So when we
Uh-huh.
think about the language, any languages actually, not only English, uh, we have to build communication in terms of um, actually by creating cooperation in terms of building critical thinking, boosting um, the interaction for the learners. So we have to always find a way to communicate with the learners. I am very picky about using the word student and learner. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to bring the students from the position of being a student to the position of being a learner, actually.
I
Not
see.
all students are learners. So we are learners, we are lifelong learners, actually, but we have to take all the students to the position of being a learner. So we have to just analyze their needs, their profiles. So we have to create the environment for them to be in
Uh-huh.
communication with each other, with me, with everything around them, everybody around them. So we have to just create the right, the authentic environment
Mm-hmm.
for the learners.
For
So
the
that's the
learners.
basic, I think,
Um,
in language acquisition.
I see. Thank you very much, Hocam. Thank you for the answer of the question. And I want to ask you another question. If I'm not wrong, you don't want the people call you as a teacher trainer. They want them to call you as a teacher supporter, and you call yourself like this. Why? And what is the difference for you, teacher trainer and teacher supporter?
Well, good, Jim. I think I'm so sensitive about this. And it's maybe from one side, it may be from my being humble in this,
Uh-huh.
because I am not teaching at a university, at least for now. So I'm not training students, the future teachers, let me say. And the other
Mm-hmm.
side is, I can explain it like, I don't want anybody to feel themselves inferior or superior to one another, right? So we're all
Yeah.
equal. So when
Mm-hmm.
I call supporter, I call myself supporter. I feel like we're equal. I'm one of you. You're just in the same community with me. I'm just in the same community with you. So I feel that energy, and I like it when I call myself supporter. So they feel close to me, I feel close to them.
Uh-huh.
So I think this is important. That's why.
That's why. I see. That's
Mhm.
why. Thank you very much
Hope it's
for
clear
explaining
now.
the difference. The difference between the trainer and the supporter. Okay, thank you very much, Hocam. And Pınar Hocam, and of course we are living in a technology, and it's really the technology. It grows very fast, and sometimes we cannot catch it. And but I wonder it, how do you do that? How do you stay updated with the latest developments and trends in education?
Well, Kanajam, I have always been interested in education technology. So pandemic was a super fruitful period of time for me, because
Uh-huh.
I got the opportunities, of course, online, but I made use of all the webinars, the trainings related to technology. So um, I am very much interested in digital pedagogy. So it is not only about using an app, it is not only about being tech savvy. We have to know how to implement it into our sessions or lessons. So when we have an app, or when we have
Yes.
something uh, about gamification, for example, we have to know how to adapt it to the session, and
Mm-hmm.
we have to know, especially, we have to be sure about the learner's perception of digital. world
I
because they're
see.
not really tech savvy. They're just slaves to the digital world, I believe. They just know how to use the social media really well, but they don't know, for example, what digital literacy is. They're really good at digital skills, maybe, but they're not aware of what digital literacy is. They're not aware of what digital security is. They don't know what digital footprint is. So
E-
um, they should be
Exactly.
really educated on that too. So as you see, I don't like just taking one thing. Oh, hey, I know it. No, I have to know everything behind that so that I can say, hey, I know it. I know some about it, and I can just deliver it to the others.
I see. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Pınar Hocam. And let's move to another question. We are really, the sometimes having difficult times to, the make our students to practice the language outside the classroom. We really face difficulties about it. And sometimes also, we are trying to, to push them to continue their, language development independently outside the classroom. But we really face difficult about it. And the students sometimes they don't want it. But as a teachers, how can we encourage the language learners to do them? Like, I mean, practice the language outside the classroom and, you know, continue their language learning development independently outside the classroom. What are your suggestions to the teachers?
To the teachers or to the students?
Both, if you want, to the learners or to the teachers.
Mm-hmm. Um, First of all, I think number one is we have to build the environment for authentic materials. First, we should bring authenticity into the learning
Uh-huh.
and teaching environment. So when they feel that, hey, we're talking about something real here, then they are exposed to it, of course,
I see.
and they believe in that. So they feel that they need it. They just study or work or practice accordingly. So we cannot just say, hey, open the book, page blah blah, and we're doing this. So we have to put the things into practices, and we have to give them some space. We have to let them build some teams. Teamwork is really important, in the 21st century skills. We have to let them solve the problems. We have to let
Mm-hmm.
them
I see.
think critically. So when they are exposed to these authentic environments, they feel a need. So automatically they have the taste of learning, and this is what acquisition is, I believe. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest also to the teachers. So it's not only about the book. It's not only about opening YouTube or videos. We have to bring something new. We have to energize, right, the environment. So, I mean, you can let them just write lyrics to a melody, for example. So it's not only
Uh-huh.
memorization, it is about creating. That's what I believe.
I see. Thank you very much, Pınar Hocam.
Mhm.
Thank you. And my next question again, the with the language learners, like about this, I'm gonna ask you about some strategies about like what strategies do you use to create a supportive and inclusive learning environment for language learners? Because this is really important. And how do you do that?
Mhm. Actually, I have mentioned most of them, but I just prepare the environment for my learners, and just with one sentence. I say, even if you do not accept it or you don't want to accept it, you should
Uh-huh.
respect it. So
Oh,
if you
nice.
don't accept it, you should respect it. So I just don't let the other way happen in my environments. So this really works. I would recommend it. Yes.
I see.
If you
Thank you
want
very
to
much,
accept
Hocam.
it, and I just want them to say it to each other. I don't accept it, but I respect you. So they don't have to say it, of course, but they can also show it through their behaviors, right?
Mhm, exactly. You're totally right, Hocam. Thank you. Another question is like what is it's about again the teaching. But for you, hocam, what is the most rewarding aspect of teaching?
Mm-hmm. Teaching means learning. So if we wanna just go ahead learning, so this is a way of learning, I think. By teaching, we learn. We never stop. It's an endless story to me. So
Uh-huh.
the more you teach, the more you learn. We learn. I think that is the only and the best reward a teacher
Oh,
can have.
for you. Okay, nice. Thank you. Thank you very much, hocam. All right. So I want to ask you another question about this is really important. There are two things about it. Like we all know that project-based learning and the task-based learning, these are really popular. But I want to ask you a kind of a relation between, for example, the project-based learning and the relation with learner autonomy. What are the effects on it? How does it help?
Mm-hmm. When the learners are given space and the right to speak or the right
Mm-hmm.
to create, to build something new on their own, they own it. So we automatically create the ownership and the feeling of belonging, right? So when we focus on learner autonomy, we would see that when the students or the learners um, just control their own pace or just set their own routines. So they feel independent, they feel self-regulated, so they feel self-directed. So it just boosts them and it fosters engagement, it fosters interaction. So we're just the facilitators there. So when we build a learner autonomy, it automatically we just help them get the language itself. So they face what learning
Uh-huh.
language is, what's the acquisition of a language is. So I think project-based learning and mostly the project-based language learning and should be really given no real space at schools. It is not the project in the books on the pages. It's a
Uh-huh.
real project. Anything can be a project as long as we dive into it, we find, and again with the students,
Exactly.
we can
Mm-hmm.
just, yes, we can just put the formulas of it, we can put the rules together, we can let them do it for us and let them share with each other. So again, cooperation,
Uh-huh.
communication, and creativity
I see.
always play most important roles, I think, in this learner autonomy. So it is a way of learning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a way of language
I
acquisition, in short.
understand.
Mhm.
I see. Thank you very much, Pınar hocam. Thank you. And my next question, I hope you're not bored, but it's so far so good about the questions. And it's really great to listen to you here, Pınar hocam. Thank you very
Super
much for
good
all your
example.
answers. And so let me ask you another question about it. There are lots of new teachers in our field, like as a teaching, English language teaching. So what advice would you give to new or aspiring English language teachers who are just, the starting their teaching careers?
Mhm. Uh, I always tell them when I meet them um, to be brave in their journeys because it's a journey, right? So we learn during the process, during the journey. Sometimes we plan, but we may need to take a different direction sometimes. Sometimes it does not work, then we should just think and take another path or change the way or maybe restart, right? So this is like life. So I always tell them to be brave and to try what they are feeling close to. And I always tell them to rely on their authentic self because the teacher should be happy to be a good teacher, right? So
That's really
of course,
important. Mm-hmm.
yes, and it all depends on the teacher herself or himself, as well as the environment, of course. So teachers need to be appreciated first of all. Teachers
Mm-hmm.
need to be valued. So if you put your
Definitely.
self-value, if you believe in your worth, then be brave, be authentic, and then go on your path. So never fear, never feel down, and mistakes are always okay. So that's why I always tell the future teachers.
Mm-hmm. I see. You are definitely right. Mistakes are all okay. And we are all teachers, and we definitely in our the career. Sometimes we face difficult times, and sometimes we have really relaxed times, or sometimes we failed, sometimes we become successful. But so as you mentioned that we need to be tough and strong, and the fight for all the difficulties. Mm-hmm. I see. Thank you.
Like
Thank
it.
you, Hocam. Let's move. By the way, the just couple questions left. Time flies, Hocam. Let me ask you another question. I told you that time flies,
Mhm.
and my question is related about the time. How do you see yourself in 10 years, Hocam? Will you still be a trainer, or will you try another jobs?
I am gonna be definitely in education, of course, but I really do not care about the position I will handle or I will be somewhere in education. But you know my answer, God knows. But as human beings, we have to plan, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
I am gonna be mostly done with my daughter's education, so I will be kind of a bit more free. So I am sure I'm gonna continue investing in myself professionally and personally, and I am gonna be a part of education, but I really do not know. Oh, by the way, I don't know if we have mentioned here so far. I have my own business now, professional
Oh,
support and education, and
yeah.
maybe I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do something related to it. I am planning to work globally. So um,
Wonderful.
I want to, I have always been visionary, as people say, of course. I don't want to say it to myself. So I'm going to use it in an advantageous way, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, John.
I see. Wonderful. What is the name of? I think you have that Instagram account for your that one, something like teaching support. Okay.
Professional
Yeah.
support in education for teachers and learners, but my account is not really active because it has been hacked for a couple of
Oh.
times. I don't know why. There's
Oh.
nothing there yet, but people keep hacking. I don't know really. But it is all about education, of course. And I gave this name with the initials of my first name and last name, like Pınar, P, Sekmen,
Mm-hmm.
S. So I put the professional support. So I think I'm a creative person, right?
Yes, definitely. It's nice name, hocam. By the way, even you said that many times it's been hacked, but they like the name. That's why I think they are
Oh,
trying
maybe.
to hack it.
So, thanks.
Okay, let's move to another question, hocam. Thank you very much, by the way. In our lives, sometimes when we face very difficult situations, and we say, "Oh, I wish I could have that power, so I could do this easily," or "I wish I could the power, this power, so I could do this, or I could save myself, or I could do that." So when you think about this into the classroom, if you could have one superpower to use in the classroom, what would it be and how would it help you?
Um, I do not believe in superpowers. I'm a very realistic person,
Uh-huh.
Ajam. So this is not the right question for me, but I would say I would I would do my best to change all the lazy mindsets.
Uh,
Not only for the students, but for adults, for everybody, even for, I'm sorry to say that, but for the colleagues. Because, excuse me, I cannot take laziness. I
uh,
mean, is it my weak point or is it what it is supposed to be like? I have no idea about this. But I think I would do this.
That's
Just
that's a nice superpower to use it. You know, to stop the laziness. Nice, really. I think I like that idea. Really. Thank you.
If it is something about superpower, I would do that. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, hocam, let's think that we finished the interview and you step outside your home and find a lottery ticket that ends up winning $10 million, which is really, really great money for us, for our country. What would you do?
You remember, I just told you that I'm a very realistic person. So I would say, no, there's something wrong with this. So it's not right. Oh, there's something wrong. So it is fake. Don't believe in it. So I would not even take a step. So I would miss the chance. I think that's what I would do. But
I understand.
if I really just wake up and oh it's real, okay then, and then maybe I would take it definitely directly to the earthquake regions in my country, in
I see.
neighbor
Mhm.
countries, and I would definitely donate it to uh, Palestine.
I see. I
Yeah,
see. Yeah, thank you very much.
I can't
Thanks.
take it really. I would do my best.
Yeah.
If I can do something, I could. I wish I could do something, but I cannot do anything except for praying. So everybody, please pray for them, because pray for humanity actually, because
Actually,
I
yes.
really cannot take it. I really cannot take it. So that's all I
Hmm.
can say.
We are all sad and sorry about the situations, and as
So
soon as
yes,
possible
we
they
should
they stop this situation, stop the war, and
raise
stop the.
awareness. We should raise our voices. We should do something as human beings, because this is something really serious. From lottery, I'm so sorry to this, but it automatically came to this
Sure.
issue. I cannot take it. The children, the women, the freedom being taken. I mean, it's unbelievable. It is so barbaric. And yeah, I just want to call everybody to do something for that. So
Hmm.
it's a
I
chance for me
understand.
to meet them. That's
Okay.
why.
No, thank you very much, Ajam, for mentioning it here. Thank you. All right. So, if we are in, we're gonna ask you the last question now, and I think it's the last. Yes. So, are you ready for the last question, Ajam?
Yes. Okay.
The last
Slowly.
question of the session. It's really difficult. Yes, here it is. What is your motto?
Oh, actually, people who know me would guess it. Actually, it
Yeah.
is always keep going, never give up,
Mm-hmm.
and
That,
trust in your authentic self. I am really really sensitive about this and very picky about this word, authentic. So it is not your identity in the community. It is about you and yourself. So please trust in your authentic self, believe in your authentic self, and invest in yourself. That's what
I
I was going
see.
to say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you very much, Hocam. Thank you very much, Pınar Hocam.
Thank you, John.
Okay, that's all my questions, Hocam. And before ending our live sessions, would you like to add anything else?
I would like to thank you once again for inviting and having me, Hojam. It was great being with you. It was, yes, not difficult, easy at the first time, but I think this is like my life itself, Hojam. Never, it's never easy for me. I'm kidding, of course, but I am so thankful to everybody who joined us
Uh-huh.
today. And today I actually had a bad day because of the weather conditions. I am sorry if I
Uh-huh.
just said something wrong or unpleasant because of the weather conditions. You know, my brain
Uh-huh.
sometimes is out of order. So. Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon in another
Soon. In another,
platform.
in
Mhm.
another, I see. Okay, thank you very much, Pınar Hocam.
Thank
And
you.
thank you very much one more time, Pınar Hocam. I would like to say thank you very much for being with us here and for your ideas, for your suggestions, and especially, which is really the most important thing, is your time. You spend it with us here. Thank you very much, Hocam. And Pınar Sekmen was with us tonight, and we talked lots of different topics with her, and we had a really fruitful session with her. And thank you very much one more time. And we are going to be here next week on the same day at the same time, like every Monday at 9 p.m. Until next time, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, Pınar Hocam, and wherever you are. And peace, everybody, and good night. Bye bye.
Bye bye.